Alright guys, here we go. It is a rest day today, which will be filmed. So I'm gonna show you all my rest day meals, because what's more fun than a full day of eating on prep with a rest day and everything I have to eat today, which is not that much anymore. So I'm gonna show you my meal plan or my macros on the screen right now. And as you can see, there's a quite substantial drop from my building phase to my diet phase right now. This morning I already did my cardio 20 minutes. I did my 3000 steps fasted, all to get that morning activity done. It took me around an hour to get everything done with the steps and everything and the showering and stuff. So that was a productive morning. Now the cardio at first felt a little shit, of course, because I was not used to that much cardio. And now I'm in it and I've kind of quite like it because it gets something done in the first part of the day. Already checked off, feels nice to have something productive done. So getting a good sweat in the morning on the bike is actually getting fun right now. So I'm gonna continue that, of course, because it's in my plan and I like it. Now, for what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna show you my breakfast because I had it right after my cardio and my steps. That's how I started my day. And now it is time for meal prep. So I'm first gonna show you my breakfast and then we are going to meal prep together. Well, for a first try, this looks pretty good. Let's have breakfast. So as you've seen, the first meal of the day, my egg with egg whites and salmon. Carbless, yes, I do have fruit with it officially in this meal, but I also have two fruitless meals later in the day, and I like to have my fruits with those meals, so I just kept it like this, just only the egg whites and the fats from the egg. Light breakfast, did not do steps afterwards because they were not really needed for digestion because it fell through me and I was hungry already before I even cleaned up my plate. Now for the meal prep, what I'm going to start off with is the potatoes. So we do potatoes 2 times a day on a rest day, and I do potatoes 1 time a day on training days. And we usually prepare for multiple days ahead. So I will make my potatoes in bulk and I will make my veggies in bulk. So I just have to grab them from the fridge. The rice, as you might have seen in earlier videos, has been cooked every day fresh. So that's already ready in the rice cooker, which has a timer function. So we put it in at night so it can soak water. Always rinse your rice first, then let it soak. And then when I wake up, it is all ready and set to get portion out in the day. So all the portions for me and Frederic are in the same rice cooker and we just divide them over our plates. What I can recommend you doing that is weigh out your rice cooker pan so you know what weight it is. Write it down so you know what weight to subtract from the total weight when it's cooked. Simply weigh the pan with the cooked rice minus the weight of the pan and then divide it by the total amount of rice you've put in. So you know how much cooked rice weight is for 1 gram dry weight. Then simply multiply that with the amount you have to have on your plate. So for example 100, you multiply the number with 100. Most of the time it comes around 3.1, 3.2 for us. So 1 gram of dry rice is 3.2 grams of cooked rice, around that number. So we always weigh it daily to be sure and to be 100% precise. Then you have around the 300 gram mark for your cooked rice, and then you have 100 rice on your plate. It's easy to do it like that, so you can always be precise and always have fresh rice without the hustle of anything scooping out or anything dividing by different plates with no real number in mind. So it's easy like that. I'd suggest you try that as well. And for the potato, it's not really an issue to have those prepped beforehand, so I always like to do that. And since we have a steamer here, we can simply do it in half an hour and we have everything done for a couple of days. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna cut up the potatoes, and the veg we use carrots and we have green beans. Green beans are from the freezer, so it does not really make that big of a difference if it is frozen or not. What I see with the frozen ones is that it tastes a little bit less, but it's way more convenient because you don't have any spillage or anything else. And what does happen when you freeze those veg is when they freeze the veg is that they preserve more micronutrients because they have no degradation from outside influences, so it's more fresh actually than when you buy it fresh from the store. Store-bought is always a little less fresh because it has a couple of days from storing and having it in the store. So that's something to take in mind. Not really a big difference, but every little difference is a difference, so worth mentioning. I'm gonna cut it up right now, so I'm gonna prepare the potatoes. 200 grams per meal, so I have 800 grams in total, 200 for 2 meals today, so that's 400, and for 2 extra days ahead, which is also 400. Comes to 800, just divide it in your Tupperware, and easy to take out when you're having your meal. So I'm not really in the need of any dieting hacks, but to make anything a little bit different with potatoes, for example, you can make them different ways. And what I always recommend is to do it different ways because it makes it a little bit more applicable to having some variety in the diet. So having variety in the diet with potato means you can cook it, you can boil it, both ways they get done. So afterwards you can do it, you can throw them in the air fryer to make crisps. So if you slice them thinly, then you can make potato chips from them. But if you make them like fries, you can just put them in the air fryer as well after cooking, and they get nice and crispy as fries. So switching that up a little bit gives a little variety in what you are eating. It's not the product itself, but it's just the consistency of it. If you like mashed potatoes, for example, just make mashed potatoes. It's no big difference. Just smash them up and eat them with your chicken like that. So no big issues with that, just some variety for it, so it can actually make things a little bit more fun. So little tip for you to take home. Of course, another sip of my morning coffee. Yeah, nice. Now for the rice, it always gets heavier when it's cooked. For the potato, it stays roughly the same, so you can weigh that afterwards with no big issues. If you divide them separately in a few bowls, then it is always correct. And with the veg, it always loses a little bit of weight. Now with the veg, I must be honest, I'm not too concerned about having 5 grams more or less. Because it is almost 0 calories, of course, but we do count it. So if you cut up enough for the week or for a couple of days ahead and you just divide it over those days, then you are sure that you didn't eat too much or too less. So just dividing it with, I normally subtract 5 grams of a 50 gram portion to be sure that it is always great. Sometimes I have something extra on the last day, sometimes I have a little bit less, but overall it's just a good intake of veg. So time to cut up the carrots, and then I'm gonna put the green beans with it, and then we're gonna cook it up in the steamer. The cheapest option for your veg obviously is frozen, and with the wholesale stores like the Mako or the Hanels here, you can buy big bags. This is 2.5 kilos, which is pretty cheap and easy to just prepare quickly. Just take it out, put it in the steamer, and it's done. So quick and easy for you. So take that in mind, that if you buy in bulk, and if you buy it frozen, it's always a lot cheaper, so easier to have a little bit less expensive meal prep weekly. So good one. All right, so that's all done. I'm now gonna put it in the steamer. I'm gonna enjoy my coffee while it's done, while it's cooking, and when it's done, I'm gonna put it in separate Tupperware for the potato, and we're ready to roll. All right, so that's all done, and as you see over here, I got my plate for my next meal, and I got the Tupperware with the potatoes and the veg just steaming out a bit before I put on the lids. Now for my next meal, I did put my potatoes in the air fryer already, so I'm gonna put that on 200 degrees for 20 minutes, and then they're all nice and crispy for the next meal. And I'm pretty hungry, as you see in the breakfast was not much, so I'm hoping that 20 minutes will pass quickly and then I can eat. So I'm gonna show you what the finished meal looks like, and I will show you the macros of the next meal as well. Alright, and there you have it. The 200 grams of potato with 175 grams of chicken, 50 grams of veg, which is carrot and green beans. I have 100 grams of apple. I have 15 grams of Rabeco light sauce and some brochette. Nice, finally some carbs today. So next up, time for my cream of rice meal. I have 75 grams of cream of rice with 150 berries, 40 whey and 15 grams of dark chocolate, which actually, oh, there it is. Looks pretty amazing. Always spread out your chocolate. Make sure everything is covered. Throw on the berries. Whey drip on top. Oh, fuck. You are set for a great meal. Let's have this meal and enjoy some brochette again. As the podcasts take pretty long and I take the time to really enjoy those. So eating time. All right, it is 30 past 2, so I just had my massage. On my rest days I usually have a massage at least one of my 2 rest days a week, so that was just yet. Now it's time for my next meal, which will be potato 200 grams, chicken 175, 50 veg and 50 avocado. And in the meantime, while I'm eating my meal, I'm gonna be talking you through my pool day that I did yesterday. No, not yesterday, it was Tuesday actually. And I did this at Olympia in the Bosch, and I was thinking about when I should share it. Well, this is the moment. So I'm gonna show you the setup and I'm gonna give you some explanations around the exercises. So enjoy. Alright, so first up, we start with the unilateral lat pull down. I have 2 sets here, 7 to 10 reps. And for this one I really try and focus on squeezing the lats with pulling my elbow as close to the body and as low as possible. So pulling the elbow down and back into the pocket of your hip makes sense for this exercise. It really targets the lat very nicely, and if you rotate that hand outwards you will be able to really keep that elbow locked in place. When you do this exercise, do not let your shoulder come up, because letting the shoulder come up too much and letting your upper body rotate towards the handle, now you will lose some range of motion. So for this one, stay locked in place. That's one of the most important things. Next up, we did the upper back row, and I really love this exercise. It's one of my favorites for the upper back. I really can get into this and really get stuck in pushing heavy weights, but also keeping form right. So main thing here is squeezing those shoulder blades together and really letting them get into a stretch when you lower the weight. And when you lower the weight, think about pushing your hands away from your body so you can really stretch out those upper back fibers and upper back muscles. So stay upright and get seated on a small plate or something to really pull in line with the upper back. That's an easy and quick fix for higher cable rows. Then next up, single arm row. For the single arm row, I did the left side first as always, and I think that I should really rotate this once in a while, because I always start with the left one and that's just a habit. But you notice that when you start at the other hand, you might be a little bit stronger on that side. So maybe switching it up sometimes will be better, but I gotta do it myself as well. With this, as the same actually as with the pull down, is try to really get locked in place. Don't rotate too much and push your elbow down to the floor and back to your hip. Get into the stretch by really letting the weight stretch out fully, and pushing your arm upwards a bit actually will help for this as well. And then the other side, what you see there is also a sturdy upper portion of the body, so don't rotate too much. Keep engaging the lat fully when in stretch and when in contraction, so always try to keep tension on the muscle, on the target muscle. And always, also with this one, try to rotate your hand outwards a little bit. I see that I'm not doing it amazingly, so I should note this for myself as well. Rotate the hand outwards so your elbow comes inwards towards your body. Then for the next piece, also an amazing one for the upper back, is the upper back row. It is one with two variations of handles, one with neutral grips and one with slightly pronated grips. And I did the small ones for this one, this set, and the wider neutral grips at my second set. And what I notice is then when I get it like this, I can really squeeze up, and when I get the horizontal handles, the neutral grip, I can really squeeze towards the middle of my back. So to get more out of it, I would suggest getting the neutral grips for this. Always use straps, and always use some extra blocks as well to get strapped in, because the handles are pretty far away to get in a good range of motion. So lining up with some blocks in between the machine and so your handles come forward will actually help you set up nicely, and they will fall out when you pull the weight loose. So small and quick tip for that is try always to get the handles closer to you by pushing a yoga block or something in between. Next, the bicep curls. Always try to get yourself in line with the cable, so your wrist will stack up against your elbow and your shoulder. And get everything in line, working in line. That means that you are working in a safe position, and you also be able to push the most weight and the most form with the best form as possible. Really try to contract hard when you get at the top, because that's where this exercise shines the most in the shortened range. So please always try and contract as hard as possible at the top, and lower it under control, of course, to mitigate any injuries and to really get into that stretch portion safely. Then I did the the dumbbell curl, and what I did here was I didn't double. Normally I do use this alternating, but I wanted to try this for this session. And what I noticed with this, when you do them double, is that you cannot really get in line with the dumbbells. So what we did with the cable just yet, we cannot do that if we don't do this one alternating. So when you do it alternating, you can lean a little bit towards the working hand to get everything straight and to get everything in line. And with this, it does not work. I finished off with a little drop set towards hammer curls. I just like it. I know it's probably a bit too much, and Kuba does not like it, but I like them, so I will do them sometimes. Then for the next exercise, I did reverse flies, and with this one, it's always the most important thing that you push away your hands from your body. So push your hands forward as far as possible, so you are really in the stretch position, and then push your hands outward instead of backwards. So you don't want to bring the weight behind you, you want to bring the weight towards the sides. So think about scraping your knuckles against the walls around you. Push your hands away and outwards. Rotating your pinky upwards a bit will also help with this, so to engage the rear delts a bit, and always make sure that you're in a slight lower position than the handles, so you're working from a upwards plane downwards. That's it for this session. So small tips for you to take home. Hope you liked it. Now let's drive home and let's go for another work block. Alright, so it's time for the next meal number 5, which will be 75 grams of rice with 175 grams of beef, 50 grams of veg, which is peas, and 100 grams of pineapple slash mango. Now, my mother-in-law is gonna eat something strange. I don't know if any of you know this piece of vegetable, fruit, vegetable, I don't know. If you know, leave a comment here below. I did here the Google search on this, why this is so important and why this is healthy, but I don't really gonna try it because it looks a little bit disgusting. But if you know what it is, let me know in the comments and we'll see if any one of you is right. Now, this is what my meal is looking like. And Frederique is baking up her spinach with chicken and her rice is behind. So let's get this cooked and let's get digging in. All right, does that look amazing or not? And then it was nighttime. Just had 2 client calls, went well, and now it is time to relax and wind down. I got my blue light blocking glasses on. My nose strip is gone because I can nasal breathe again, so that's great. The cold is gone. Now, for this meal, I do have 75 grams of cream of rice with 5 grams of dark chocolate, 15 grams of almond butter with 150 berries on the side. So I'm gonna enjoy this, relax on the couch. We are watching a new series, Blind Sherlock, a Dutch series about a blind Sherlock. So we are 1 episode deep. Seems promising, so let's see if it is something to watch for the rest of the season as well. I think there are six episodes of it, so we're gonna enjoy that. Frederique's in the back making her food, so when she's done we can watch the next episode and get that meal in. Have a nice evening to you guys. Have a nice day if you're watching this in the daytime, of course. And as always, if you have liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.